Hello, fellow woodworkers. I've been online reading a lot about how to apply a clear coat to naturally oily exotic woods, in this case Bolivian rosewood. I've had a lot of trouble that many other people have had, basically fighting the natural oils and resins when it comes to something like this product I've been using, Minwax polyurethane fast drying clear coat. I've stuck with this finish for about a year and a half. It's simple for me. I don't have a spray booth, and I do not use paints, stains, or dyes on these instruments. The key is for me to enhance the natural wood colors, which is another reason I prefer this polyurethane fast drying oil based. It adds a nice amberish tint, similar to like a amber toner you would use if you were spraying nitrocellulose lacquer. So these are the two products I use, Wipe-On Poly, and I will apply Wipe-On Poly. First I'll do a wash coat real thin on the entire instrument, and it works great for porous woods like maples and mahoganies. And rosewoods do not like this stuff. So here's a step that I have learned that works. I apologize in advance if someone out there is more knowledgeable in this area and I'm providing this information. However, I've had good results. Basically, here's a fretboard blank that I pulled out of my collection here. What I'm going to do first off is to prep the surface. I've got a bottle here of low odor mineral spirits, and I'm going to give this a little squirt. The idea here is to take this the stuff evaporates, dries off real quickly, and it doesn't raise the grain like water. So I've got a little squirt here, and the way you want to get the natural oils and resins off the surface before both gluing this stuff as well as applying a finish is you want to rub the surface, and you'll see the rag has the rosewood tint to it. Some of that's dust, some of it is the resin. So what I'll do when I'm working with this is I will repeat this process. I'm using a paper towel and low odor mineral spirits. I'll assume you can use straight acetone paint thinner, the stuff that stinks real bad, and denatured alcohol. So I will cover the whole surface area to remove this until it's dry. Now once I've done that, I at least have a thin layer on top of the rosewood where the clear coat can penetrate and kind of grab onto the fibers and seal it a little bit, like a wash coat. Now this is the project I've been struggling with here. This is Bolivian rosewood book match, top and back. Has a Bolivian rosewood center strip all the way through. This is a neck through design, and I've done very well with the face of this piece of wood. It adhered properly. I was able to build coats, level them out, and repeat the process over and over again. I've done a wet sand on this just to level it out, and usually after I wet sand to like 600, 1200, I'll do a very thin coat of the Wipe-On Poly, and then I'll start rubbing it out with a mild abrasive. I use what is that stuff called? Meguiar's 105 and 205. But the issue I've run into on this build, basically, the center strip has, it's like ingrain. It's similar to a live edge, and you'll notice that as I get closer, it appears that, especially on these very dark stripes on this neck through center strip, this has been a very troublesome spot for me. More troublesome than anything I've done before. And the thin wash coat just doesn't seem to do anything on this. I'll do the Wipe-On Poly and try to rub it in, but the oils and resins always win the battle when it comes to applying a wash coat. What I started doing on this, and again, it's taken so much longer for this to cure just because of the oils and resins in the Bolivian rosewood. You see these speckles, and obviously there's some issues with the clear coat adhering to the surface. So what I realized that worked is doing the exact opposite of how you'd usually apply clear coat. What I'll do is take a foam brush, and since the rest of this instrument has a very nice finish built up, I'd run some blue painter's tape to mask off this, and I used the actual fast drying Minwax polyurethane, and I would dip the foam brush in it, and I would run it down the mask section like so. And I would, when I used the tape, I'd use blue painter's tape, low tack, always good when doing this stuff. And I put little strips of paper on it so that any kind of drips that occurred wouldn't drip back down around to the fretboard. And I would get the foam brush saturated, and rub right along there, and then I would skin it on the sides, just basically skinning, meaning rub the brush on the edges there and over the strip very lightly, just to drag it and level the surface. When I came back to check on it about 45 minutes later, I noticed that I was still fighting these very dark black strips here. So what I did after 45 minutes is the polyurethane that I brushed on with a foam brush, it was a little tacky, but it seemed like the resins and oils were kind of winning the battle again. So basically 45 minutes later, I took another foam brush, did the exact same thing, dipped it, skinned over it like this, and then about an hour later I checked on it, noticed it was building up and starting to get thick, with less of this speckled, and these black strips weren't affecting it so much or repelling the finish I was putting it on. Then I did a third coat. What I realized is, I think what's happening is, since this polyurethane is oxidation is the catalyst, when I put too thin a coat on, the oils and resins would kind of bleed in to the very thin coat, and that would always cause problems. But when I put a thicker coat on, I think the reason the three kind of coats back to back is working for this end grain piece of rosewood here is that I think with that thick coat there's no oxygen hitting the surface of the wood, so that oil kind of stays a little contained. This strip here is cured. It's rock hard now. I'm going to start scuffing it with 325 and get rid of the ridges that happened when I taped it off with blue painter's tape, and get that to blend back into the rest of the neck. Once I've leveled that out, I'll go back to my Minwax wipe-on poly and take a cheesecloth, and I try not to have any excess in the cheesecloth. I squeeze it out, and then I just do a one pass right over top to get the touch-up section blending in with the other section. And that seems to work. The exact same process does well on this rosewood, but since this is the face and it's not end grain or the live edge like this center strip here, I don't have nearly as much trouble. Now on the front, it's turned out perfect. It's nice and leveled, cured, very hard. Fretboard's tricky. I'm also using the Minwax. Probably you'll get better results if you do the low odor mineral spirits to clean all the brownish color off, which means you've removed both the excess dust and the oils and resins. But I was advised by someone very fluent in this area to try the I think it's General Products Armor Seal. Armor Seal seems to perform much better. From the information I was provided, the Armor Seal is a much higher quality, obviously reflected in the price. It's probably twice as much as the Minwax, but You can rub that stuff on and you won't deal with as many issues you have with the polyurethane oil-based fast-drying gloss coat. So I hope this is helpful. This is just a little trick that I figured out, and it's kind of counterintuitive to how you'd usually apply the Minwax with a very thin wash coat and then building it up. It seems like when I do a thicker coat, it helps prevent the oils and resins from mixing with the polyurethane, which causes it to get kind of sticky and take excessive amounts of time to cure. And this fretboard's a good example. I've tried doing very thin coats on this, and it just won't stick. I'm probably going to strip this off and go to a natural finish, use like a fretboard conditioner, lemon oil or something, and go from there. It's too much of a headache for me personally to try and do a clear coat on the Rosewood fretboard. I have done it before. It is a pain though, and it's time consuming and takes much longer to cure. So hopefully this is helpful. If someone tries this and they have good luck with it, then the video was worth making. If someone disagrees with how I'm working with this Rosewood and putting on a thick coat of polyurethane in the beginning to fight those oils and resins, please leave a note and explain why that may not be a good idea for some people. But for me, it's worked, and this baby's looking real nice. So take care out there. Go make some dust. Have a good day. Bye-bye.